So L section filter. So let me draw the circuit. So this is the circuit diagram of an L section filter. So this is the circuit diagram of an L section filter. So it is formed by, if you are looking at the diagram, so it is clear that it is formed by combining two types of a filters. What we have already discussed, like a shunt capacitive filter and a series inductive filter. So both I am combining. So this part, if you take, it is a series inductive filter, and this part is a shunt capacitive filter. So what we are doing, we are combining both of them. We are combining both of them. First I am taking an series inductive filter where the rectifier output is applied as the input to the inductive filter. Then after that I am connecting it to a shunt capacitive filter. Then from the load I will get the out. So now in this circuit, what is happening exactly? So as I told you that both the filters I am using, that means what? The filtration is done two times. The filtration is done two times. Once by the series inductive filter, then next by the capacitive, that is shunt capacitive filter. So the filtration is done two times. Two times the AC components will be removed. So naturally, this will be far more better filter than a series inductive filter or a, what we call it as a shunt capacitive filter. So let me say, okay. So now coming to the properties of inductor and capacitor. Coming to the properties of inductor and capacitor. Now, what will inductor do? What will capacitor? Coming to the properties of inductor and capacitor, we have to know what inductor will do, what a capacitor will. So what is the function of a inductor? What is the property of an inductor? What it will do? It will block AC and it will allow DC. So what is the property of an inductor? It will block AC components and it will allow DC components. Right? It will allow DC components. Next, capacitor. What capacitor will do? It will block what? DC and allows, it will block DC and it will allow AC. Followed? So here the value should be chosen such that it will perform its filtration process. Now, when the rectifier output is given, as input to the inductor, that is series inductive filter, in the first case, what happens? What it will do? What inductor will do? Here I will get AC plus DC. I will get AC plus DC. It will, what it will do? It will block AC. It will block AC and allows only the DC. It will block AC and it will allow only DC. Okay. So here the inductor will block AC and allows DC. So as I am giving the rectifier output as the input to the filter, both AC components and DC components will be present. So it will offer a very high reactance path to AC. High reactance path in the sense it will start stopping the AC components, and all the DC components will enter like this. Now, here the inductor, as I told you, it will not perform 100% filter. That means it will not stop all the AC components. By some problem, surrounding temperature conditions and all, some part of the AC will also come again here. So a little part of AC will be there. Now, the value of capacitor, as I already told you in the shunt capacitive filter, as the value of capacitor is chosen such that the reactance is smaller than value of resistance. The reactance offered by the capacitor will be lesser than the resistor at the AC mains. So what happens? Then all the AC components which are there, that will bypass. All the AC components will bypass. So here the value of C is chosen, capacitor is chosen such that the reactance offered by the capacitor will be less than the resistance. The reactance offered by the capacitor is less than the value of the resistor when at the frequency of AC mains, that is 50 Hz in the India. At that point, the capacitor which is there, that will bypass the AC source, because it is offering, because capacitor is offering low reactance path to AC and high reactance path to DC. Low reactance path to AC and high reactance path to DC. Since it is offering low reactance path, what happens? All the AC components will come here and it will bypass, it will be written back. Now, whatever leftover DC is there, that will try to pass through the. Hence, you will get much more filtered output compared to the shunt capacitive filter and series inductive filter. Why? Because there are filtration is done two times. Once by the series inductive filter, that is where it is blocking AC components and allowing DC. So though it allows DC, some part of the AC also comes out. Not as much as which is earlier here. If, for example, if 70% is there, here it might be only 30% or 40%. So that 40% still it is filtered by the shunt capacitive filter. Thus, the filtration in L section filter is done two times. Is done how many number of times? It is done two times. Since the ripple, the AC components, the ripples at the output of the what you call L section filter will be very much less compared to the series inductive filter or a shunt capacitive filter. Let us see the mathematical analysis where we find the ripple factor. We try to find the ripple factor of an L section filter. Then we can understand how it is far better than the series inductive filter and a shunt capacitive filter. So same thing, the harmonic components or ripples. Harmonic components can be represented by Fourier series as, so in the L section filter we have written an equation for harmonic components using an Fourier series. Same thing I am writing. So E is equal to 2 E naught by pi minus 4 E naught by 3 pi cos omega t. Then we get 4 E naught by 15 pi cos 4 omega t. Sorry, this is 2 omega t. 4 omega t, then 8 omega t, then 16 omega t. So in this way, the harmonic components will be present. So if you compare the fourth harmonic with the second harmonic, it will be 40% to 20 to 40% less than the second harmonic. So that is why we are eliminating all other higher harmonic components. Only we consider these two. Only we consider these two, wherein this is the DC. Wherein that is the DC, because there is no sine or cos term. There is no sine or cos term. So hence it is a DC. So from this I will get EDC is equal to what? 2 E naught by pi. I will get EDC as what? 2 E naught by pi. Then I calculated EDC. So ripple factor, I can write it as either IRMS by IDC or ERMS by EDC. Either IRMS by IDC or ERMS by EDC. Anything you can take. It should be only the ratio of RMS value to the DC value. So EDC is equal to what? 2 E naught by pi. Now coming to the RMS value, if you look at the second component, a term called as cos is present. So that is an AC signal. So let me write the amplitude of it. So E is equal to 4 E naught by 3 pi. So E is equal to how much? 4 E naught by 3 pi. Then what is I? According to Ohm's law, I is equal to what? E by Z. In general, I am writing it as Z. Where Z is what? Impedance. If Z is real, then it is called resistance. If Z is imaginary, then we call it as reactance. So already these are the basics that we have discussed in the first classes. So now what is E here? 4 E naught by 3 pi. 4 E naught by 3 pi. It is what? 4 E naught by 3 pi into Z. What is Z? Impedance offered by the inductor as well as the capacitor. Because complete action is done only by the inductor and capacitor. Complete action is done by the inductor, and the filtering process is done by the inductor and capacitor, not rest. So what is the frequency here? 2 omega, second harmonic. So I will write it as 2 omega L minus 1 by 2 omega C. This is also basics. Complex impedance, complex admittance, that all we studied. So 2 omega L minus 2 omega C. Before that, in order for you to understand more precisely, I will, instead of directly writing, I will write it as XL plus XC. XL plus XC. So what is XL? It is the reactance offered by the inductor. It is reactance offered by the inductor. What is XC? XC is the reactance offered by the capacitor. So generally reactance offered by inductor is what? Omega L. Actually we write J omega L. J is the imaginary. So XC is equal to what? 1 by omega C, or that is minus 1 by omega C. J by omega C. Actually it is what? J by omega C. You multiply and divide by J, it will become minus 1 by J omega C. So J I am removing here. So 1 by omega C. But what is my harmonic? Second harmonic. Compulsory 2 should be there. That is what I am writing. I is equal to 4 E naught by 3 pi into what is XL? Omega L. Since it is second harmonic, I will write it as 2 omega L minus 1 by 2 omega C. 2 omega L minus 1 by 2 omega C. Now, take LCM and take this denominator to the numerator. So, I is equal to, so 4 E naught divided by 3 pi. So 2 omega C, when it comes here, 2 into 2, 4. Omega into omega is omega square. C into L is LC. So I will get it as 4 omega square LC. 2 into 2, 4. Omega into omega, omega square. C into L is LC. Minus 1. 3 pi into 4 omega square LC minus 1 divided by what? 2 omegas divided by what? 2 omega C. Now this 2 omega C will go to the numerator. 4 into 2. What is that? 8 omega E naught omega C divided by 3 pi 4 omega square LC minus 1. This is the value of current. This is the value of current. But what current I want? RMS current. So IRMS is equal to, or before this, let me calculate E, because I got EDC, so I require ERMS. So for that I will calculate E. E is equal to, according to Ohm's law, in general I will write it as E is equal to I into Z. What is Z? Impedance. So E is equal to I. What is I? 8 E naught omega C divided by 3 pi 4 omega square LC minus 1 into this Z is what? Where you are measuring the output. Where you are measuring the output. So here you are measuring the output like this, right? You are measuring across R. What is across R? Whatever voltage that exists across capacitor C, that will appear here. So I will write it as 1 by 2 omega C. 1 by 2 omega C. If it is, you are measuring across this, omega L. If R, it is R. Now, omega C cancel. 2 1s are, 2 4s are cancel. So E is equal to 4 E naught by 3 pi into 4 omega square LC minus 1. E is equal to 3 pi into 4 omega square LC minus 1. Now I got the value of E. I got the value of E. Now get the value of ERMS. So ERMS is equal to E by root 2. E by root 2. So ERMS is equal to, what is E? 4 E naught divided by 3 pi 4 omega square LC minus 1. And this root 2 I am writing here. So ERMS is equal to 4 E naught by 3 root 2 pi 4 omega square LC minus 1. Now I got ERMS. Already I have EDC. What is EDC? 2 E naught by pi. Already I have EDC 2 E naught by pi. So here it is not visible. So somewhere I will write, here I will write EDC is equal to 2 E naught by pi. 2 E naught by pi. Now ripple factor. So ERMS by EDC. So what is ERMS? 4 E naught by 3 root 2 pi into 4 omega square LC minus 1 divided by 2 E naught by pi. Divided by 2 E naught by pi. So ripple factor is equal to 4 E naught divided by 3 root 2 pi into 4 omega square LC minus 1 into, this I will invert when it goes here, that is pi by 2 E naught, pi by 2 E naught. Pi by 2 E naught. So E naught will cancel, E naught will cancel. 2 will cancel, 2 times it will cancel. Then pi. So now what is left over? 2 by 3 root 2, 4 omega square LC minus 1. 4 omega square LC minus 1. Now if you calculate this value, if you calculate that value, 2 by 3 root 2 value, if you calculate, I will get it as 0.47 divided by 4 omega square LC minus 1. So I will get the final value ripple factor as 0.47 by 4 omega square LC minus 1. Now, if you come across the full wave rectifier, in full wave rectifier, what is the ripple factor value? 0.48. What is the ripple factor value? 0.48. Now what is happening here? 0.47, it is divided by some quantity. It is divided by some quantity. So naturally the value will be very much less. Thus, it